Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
So this listing is for two sites. I'll talk about them one at a time with a bit of background to each. The first is a site that I've run since 2003, which feels like a lifetime ago. It started out as a CSS gallery, like a web design gallery back when they were a new and novel thing. But over the years, it's evolved into a design blog, writing about web design, freelancing, some graphic design basics, and all the kind of tools and software that go along with those fields. It generated revenue from advertising for most of its existence. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, we struck on a few different content formulas and quite an appealing affiliate platform that worked really well for us and converted well. Our revenue grew as we published more of that kind of marketing content, and we've seen some really great results. Once this took off, we actually removed advertising from the site completely to allow us to kind of simplify the site design. And we were never huge fans of ads anyway, so we got rid of those. And last year, we launched a new section of the site, a resources section, as a way to create our own catalog of kind of design and video and creative assets. And again, generating affiliate revenue. Really well SEO optimized. It has a great structure. And we've seen that show some good success so far. So that's the first website. The second website is one that we bought actually back in 2016. As we were quite interested in getting into the WordPress themes space. We operated this as a WordPress theme shop for a while, but then we kind of saw an opportunity. It had really high domain authority as a website, and we thought it would be interesting to try and take a similar approach to that of the first design blog site with similar content. This also performed really well, and in many cases, we've been ranking quite successfully with both sites for the same high profile terms. And as this took off, and as the WordPress industry kind of thinned out a little bit, we chose to double down on the content side of the business. And that site no longer sells WordPress themes. We instead give these away for free to generate a bit more interest and improve the profile and ranking of the site. So we're selling these two sites as a package because they now do a very similar thing and they generate revenue in a similar way.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
We recently acquired a new business in a completely different niche. It's a book rental business for children learning to read, something completely different. And we're ready for a new challenge in growing and scaling that. These two sites that we're selling, they've been a huge part of my business and my life for the last 15 years. So it's quite a almost emotional decision to sell them. But I think the time has come to do something completely different, explore a new space and have a new challenge. I think the track record that these sites have and the new sort of AI-based efficiencies we've introduced, the opportunities to explore new content types, it's all really exciting. But honestly, my time's just stretched too thin to be able to do that justice and give this new business the best chance of succeeding. So I think it's time to hand these sites over to someone new, inject a fresh lease of life into them and see what they can do. I'm very excited to see where they go. I'll be cheering on from the sidelines. And a difficult decision, but I think the right one for us as we embark on this new business and this new challenge.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
Both of these websites have been relatively little work ongoing. I think we've got them to a place now where they are quite self-sufficient and have plenty of content that performs well. And we have a contractor who we work with who does quite a lot of the work as well. So at a high level, the work involved splits down into the content on the site and the platform. From a content point of view, about once a month, I'll sit down for a day and I'll review what content is performing best, take a look at the traffic and the revenue of content. I will choose which posts we want to update next month, and I'll do some research and commission some new content for the next month as well. Some of this comes from pictures and suggestions that our contractor has sent through as well to help out. That takes about one day a month. And then once a week, I will schedule in the content that has been submitted by our contractor. That takes about 5 minutes to post and overall maybe 1 hour a week. And each week I'm also dealing with sponsorship requests. We get a few of these a month. It's just a case of replying to the emails with a templated response, giving a price to people who are interested in the sponsorship, taking payment, and then passing the details for that sponsorship on to the contractor to write the post. The contractor we work with creates all the content, either updating existing content or writing new pieces. Both of those are often handled with the help of an in-house AI tool we built that's based on ChatGPT and is just really good at making the type of marketing content we publish in a really efficient way. So that's the content side of things. About one day a month planning and an hour or so a week of dealing with commissioning, scheduling the content in. And then the other side of things is the platform. The website runs entirely on WordPress. It's pretty simple. We have a few custom plugins and things that we built to do different things, but it's a standard WordPress setup, a theme, a few plugins. We keep all that up to date, and that's all quite simple. In the past, it's been more complicated. In recent years, we've streamlined it all within WordPress, so it's quite easy to manage, maintain, can be hosted anywhere. So yeah, not a terribly large amount of work to manage the two sites, I would say.
So if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
To keep the business and choose to grow it, I think there are so many ideas we have. I think the number of ideas and opportunities is absolutely not the problem at the moment. The problem is just time and priorities. I might chat for a little while here. There are quite a few things I could talk through for both sites. But I think initially we launched a resources section on one of the sites recently, which has shown some great growth. It uses WordPress in a smart way to create a directory or catalog of different design and creative assets. We launched this initially, populated it with lots of different categories and resources, but we had the time to really maintain it, add new items regularly. I think doing that would have a big impact on the growth of that whole section. Much, much more you could do with that in terms of adding more content quite easily using WordPress and see that grow. We also have an email list for one of the sites that's pretty significant. The contractor we work with sends out one newsletter regularly each week, but we haven't really done any significant work to try and grow this list or scale it. We haven't tried different types of emails. We haven't tried to monetize it in any way. So I think there's quite a bit of opportunity there to be more creative with how you deal with the email list and grow that. We, again, haven't done much with social media. We do have accounts on Twitter, Facebook. We haven't got set presences on newer players like Instagram and TikTok. We haven't done much with video. So I think there's quite a bit of opportunities to do things on social media that are more creative rather than just sharing posts, having to engage with those follower bases a bit more, create conversations and leverage that better. We haven't done much cross-linking between the two websites. So I think there's potential there to benefit from integrating the two platforms a little bit and linking between them to share some authority. We haven't spent any time exploring new affiliate relationships with different partners. We've only worked with one primary partner, a couple of others in very small ways, but I think there's probably a lot of opportunity to explore the affiliate programs of similar companies in this niche, either featuring items from different affiliate programs alongside each other or experimenting with swapping them out in different posts. There are quite a few different ways to experiment with that, but that would be interesting. Also building a better relationship with the affiliate team that represent the primary source of revenue. We've had some contact with them over the years, but I know they have enthusiasm for doing more projects together and partnering up more. And I think that could be something that could really help out with doing new content experiments in partnership with them and just exploring how you can work together in better ways. On the WordPress theme sites, we haven't really been doing much work updating or promoting those free WordPress themes in recent years. So I think there's an opportunity there to better leverage that library of themes and that content. There's also the option of launching paid themes again in the future. We used to do that a little while ago, but we've put our focus elsewhere. But I think the track record and brand name of that platform still holds good credibility. And that could be an interesting thing to explore if that was additional revenue stream you want to try and tap into. On both sites, there's the opportunity to try new types of article and new types of content. We try to publish a bit of a mix of different things, but there are lots of different content types we haven't experimented with. More viral types of content, educational, similar things, nothing with video. So I think there's lots of scope to try new things there. Another big opportunity is around advertising. I think we chose to drop all display a few years ago. We knew we were leaving money on the table doing that, but we were quite happy with the affiliate revenue that the sites were generating. And we just wanted to prioritize the experience of browsing the site without ads. But I think if a new buyer wanted to, I think there's immediate revenue to be made there if ads were back on the site, or potentially greater affiliate revenue from using some of the available real estate on the site for promoting some of the affiliate partners we've worked with. If done well, that's something that could immediately give a boost to the revenue the site's making. So lots of opportunities, I think. Like I said, we just haven't had the time to explore a lot of those because we've been stretched too thin. And with competing priorities moving forward in different businesses, I think we're at a point where we know that we aren't going to have the time to do these things. And it makes sense to pass the sites over to someone else who will. But lots to explore.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
I think there are a few risks with this business like any other, many of which are kind of standard in online content publication kind of platform. So the first is, by its very nature, the sites are reliant on search traffic for a good chunk of content of traffic that goes that way. So this is reliant on Google, it's reliant on your search ranking positions, and it's reliant on the SEO optimization of the site. So I think this is shown in how the traffic to the site has risen and fallen over the years. We've tried to mitigate this by having a very, very well optimized site from Google's point of view, core web vitals wise, and through every metric we can, we've made a platform, two platforms that are very well optimized. We've got a wide base of content across lots of different niches within the topics we operate in. And both sites have a very long track record. They're not new. They haven't popped up overnight. They've been around for many, many years, decades or more in some cases. And I think that has helped us to ride the waves of multiple Google updates in different ways, some more successfully, some less successfully, but all that have left us in a place where we've managed to keep a stable and successful business for a very long time. And I think the other risk in the way that we've set the business up right now is that it's centralized around one primary affiliate partner. And there's a risk that, as unlikely as I think it would be, they could change their terms or they could adjust how they operate with affiliates. I think that the positive angle there is that there are other affiliate partners within this industry that you could also work with, and there are plenty of other options. So while we've chosen to work with one, that wouldn't always need to be the case for a new buyer, particularly if terms changed. So yeah, there are risks, but I don't think they are traumatic. I think we have done our best, as proven with the kind of track record of the sites, to mitigate those over the years. But they're definitely worth being aware of.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
Thankfully, I think both of these sites are really straightforward to run. I'm not exaggerating when talking about the kind of minimal time that we actually spend day to day on these. Our plan is to record a collection of videos that will walk you through different aspects of running the sites and how everything works, how content's created, how WordPress is set up, what you need to do to keep them operating as they are at the moment. And hopefully those videos will be useful as a long-term reference to keep going back to. In addition to that, we've said we're really happy to be flexible and accommodating with how we support and help a buyer out. The kind of standard 30 days of email and phone call support is obviously fine. We're happy to continue to officially be available via email for a further 30 days after that. And even after that, we're not going anywhere. We're always happy to do our best to help and support via email in a timely way. So yeah, you'll be supported. I don't think the sites are complicated to run particularly, but obviously, as with acquiring any business, I'm sure a buyer would have questions and would want to know that they have someone to support them as they step into the shoes of those two websites and of the business. And we're absolutely here to make sure that you have all the support you need. We're very invested ourselves in continuing to see these sites be a success and keep growing. And they've been a part of our lives so long that we'd love to help you turn them into an ongoing success.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earnout agreement?
For this sale, we're happy to discuss options with a potential buyer, but we're primarily interested in a single payment to purchase the sites outright. It doesn't mean we won't be around to help out, but that's the model that we're primarily looking for. But, feel free to reach out and discuss, suggest proposals. We're always happy to have a conversation.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
Lots of reasons why, if I was in the position of a buyer, this business would interest me. I think some of those we've talked about already in terms of the opportunities available that we aren't exploring yet, but I'll narrow it down to 3 reasons to keep it simple. One, I think it's quite a rare opportunity to acquire 2 very long-standing sites in their niches that have been in operation for, I think in the case of one of them, over 2 decades. They've been around a very long time. They've got a lot of authority and track records. And we've proven that they can stand the test of time as a business model and have been successful for a long time. The second is that I think while both sites are successful now, they're really not effectively using all the different streams of monetization that could be open to. Some like advertising because we've kind of actively chosen not to do that to this point. Some because we just haven't had the time to explore them. But I think both of them have a lot of opportunity that a new buyer could tap into. Third, we work with a great contractor who has been working with us for, I think, nearly 10 years. So working with them, coupled with the sort of in-house AI tool that we've spent a long time developing, all of that together, it's just a really frictionless and streamlined content production workflow. So the scale the sites operate at, the actual time investment needed is quite minimal because we have everything set up to operate in a really simple and efficient way. As a buyer, I think those things would certainly make me take interest in this as an opportunity.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll find everything you need to know about this business. So, thanks for joining us. See you next time.